Great to see you, pal. Listen, some people are saying fix the President's Cup, change the format, bring in LPGA players. I thought it was awesome. I say leave it alone. What say you?
I say leave it alone as well. And I'll tell you this. I spoke with Trevor Immelman at one point, and he told me and really, expressed how much they love this event. And they want to figure out a way to win it. They don't want to change the rules to try and wait, to win it. The final score was a, significant win for the United States, but it was way closer than the final score was. And you mentioned Korea could have gone either way, came down to the very last match. Same thing down in Melbourne. Really, they dominated for the first two sessions, and had they been able to close that out a little more, they would have won there. I will say this: I think what will really fix, the President's Cup and make it extremely competitive is if we can get a PIF deal done and those guys are allowed back, because they lost a big chunk. Joaquin Niemann, Abe Ancer, Oosthuizen, they lost a big chunk of their core. So I think if that deal can somehow get done and those guys can come back and play for the international squad, I don't think they need to do anything to it.
It is worth noting, I suppose, that the two international soil matches that were really close were on the other side of the world, as opposed to 30 miles from the New York State border here, John. What do you assess of Mike Weir's decision-making, specifically doubling down on partnerships that had lost on Saturday morning and icing Minwoo Lee after the Thursday morning all the way to the singles?
Yeah, hindsight's always 20/20, of course, but he had a plan. I was surprised that he sent the same four teams out Saturday morning and Saturday afternoon, because I think they lost that session 3-1, so it wasn't like they were playing great or dominating. You had some fresh players. I thought Ben On should have been out there. I saw him play one match and he played beautifully. It obviously, like I said, hindsight's 20/20, and I honestly didn't think much of his Friday pairings, and then he goes out, they go out and go 5-0. So it's tough to say, but I've never seen it where you send the four same teams out Saturday morning and Saturday afternoon in different formats. I thought there were some fresher players that could have been out there.
Woody, you got an interesting role as the Ryder Cup team manager for the United States. You were on the ground every day last week. I was struck by the camaraderie of the U.S. team. They really seem to get along and want to pull all in the same direction. Are there things that you can take from being on the ground as a walker that will help you next year at Bethpage as team manager?
I think so, and Keegan is going to know way more about that than I will, because he was in the team room all week, and we're going to talk next week about everything that he learned and things that he wants to implement. But I think the one thing is really stress, give them one reason why they should be together, and whether that's a bulletin board material or the golf course, or I don't think you need to give them a whole lot, because they do love each other. It's a different generation. They compete every week, but they enjoy each other's company. And I think we'll see more of that at Bethpage. And I don't think that we're going to need to change too much from what Jim Furyk did. And Keegan has his own ideas on some things I'm sure he'll tweak. But he told me right after he got the clinching point, he said, we're going to do a lot of the same things next year.
You mentioned earlier, John, that having live players come back to the President's Cup might actually be the change that's necessary. It's very easy to say and very obvious that live has sort of diminished the international team's calibre. Has it also made things easier for the US team? Because there are a few difficult locker room personalities that disappeared to live that you don't really have to worry about, and you're not going to have to worry about next year at Bethpage, probably.
They're going to be. They are eligible to play at Bethpage. Obviously, the talent that you lose, you kind of have to decide: is it worth losing that talent for maybe an easier, camaraderie amongst the teammates? And I know what you're saying, but I think when guys get in the same room, they're gonna get along just fine. Whether it's Bryson DeChambeau or Brooks Koepka, Dustin Johnson. I think once they're in the room together, I think any squabbles or headaches that you might anticipate will be gone. The USA, the thing that's so great for the U.S. team right now is they are so deep. You think about the players that went to live that, weren't on this team. And the team is still fantastic. I mean, the whole team was in the top 25. So if it happens, great. If it doesn't, I don't think it's a big deal because the U.S. is so deep right now.
Woody, I was struck by how intense the players were, interviewing them seconds after their match ended as opposed to interviewing someone on a Friday after a round in Palm Beach. Do the caddies get involved in that as well? I mean, obviously we saw what happened last year in Rome, but are the caddies as amped up, day to day in a President's Cup or Ryder Cup? Because it just seems like a completely different animal. I'd never had that role before of interviewing the players seconds after the match was completed.
I would say, if anything, I think the caddies are more amped up, but they are not allowed to show it because they have to keep their player calm. But in those team rooms before matches, it is very intense amongst the caddies. We are trying to get everything right. We're talking over everything. But once the flag goes up, we need to be that steadying influence out there. We can't be up and down throughout a match. And it's a team event, yes, but also match play. Match play really is a different animal because every hole is basically a small tournament and every day is a point. So it's it is much more intense from the get-go than a regular 72-hole stroke play tournament because literally you can, from the first hole on, you are winning points, period. So that's a different animal, but the caddies they love it every bit as much as the players. And once the matches are over, they'll let it out. But while they're going on, they need to, be the steadying influence because things can get really emotional out there.
Paul McGinley made a really good point on Live From on Sunday night, John, about how data is overplayed to some extent in team events and that it ought to be a guidance and not become a rule. I'm curious where you are on that. What is the balance in your mind between the stats and just simply the vibes of a good team?
I think the stats are useful. They're a tool like anything else, but you cannot forgo your gut. Joe Madden, the great baseball manager, talks about if you have a gut feeling, do it. Because it's a lifetime of experiences that are telling you that. It's not a whim. There is something in you that trusts your gut. And like I said, you can use the statistics and the analytics as a tool. And I'll tell you a great example. The analytics at Whistling Straits told Steve Stricker, do not play Colin Morikawa and DJ, Dustin Johnson, together. And they went 3-0, and I don't think they got to the 16th hole. So that was a case of Steve Stricker looking at the analytics and going, I don't agree with that. I think they're going to make a great team, sent them out together, and they dominated. So I think it's important not to use them as a crutch, not to use them completely. If it doesn't work, using that as a crutch and just using it as the excuse to say, well, the analytics said we should do it, so we did it. You have to have your own mind. You have to have your own gut instincts. And that's a great example of it. I've seen baseball managers just go completely analytics. And I wonder why they even have a manager, because if they're going to go analytics, just use the computer. Why pay a manager? So I think it's like you said, it's a tool. It can't be everything.
Keegan Bradley, 2-1 last week, clinching point for the U.S. Emotional, wears his heart on his sleeve, still playing well. Can he captain and play next year? Is your role as manager there just in case he continues to play well and wants to somehow carry the walkie-talkie and 14 clubs besides?
I think he can definitely do that. Obviously, it's a big job, but he's already named 2 amazing assistant captains. He'll name 2 more in the coming year. And he's been, when he first got named, we talked, and I said, hey, I'm not going to bring anything to you at golf tournaments. You're preparing, you're playing golf, and we'll talk about things on weeks off. And he said, Woody, I can handle it. If you got something you need to talk about, bring it to me. And I would bet you right now, if you ask the other 11 players on that President's Cup team, if they'd want to see Keegan as a playing captain next year, I would think you'd have a unanimous vote. I just think he's emotionally so strong. He loves it. He's passionate about it. And I think it would be something unique. We haven't had it for so long. I think if he's close, if he makes 100 points, obviously he's going to play. And I think if he's close, he will go to the team, the guys who have made it and the captain's picks he's going to take and say, give me your vote. Do you want me or don't you? And I think for the most part, they would love to have him on the team. And between, whatever position I have there during the week and the assistant managers, we can give him the information he needs without overwhelming him if he's playing.
All roads lead to Bethpage State Park on the LIE 1 year from now. Enjoy some downtime, Woody. Thanks for a few minutes.
Thank you, guys. I always enjoy coming on.